Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time for PGA predictions and DGA predictions. The nominations are happening this week. DGA are on Wednesday, and PGA are on Thursday.
PGA are usually 8 or 9 of the Oscar nominees. They're not going to be 10.
We could also just say they're usually missing 1 or 2.
They're a little more safe than the Oscars. Like, usually the cool movie that makes it in at the last second, like a Drive My Car, is not going to be here. They don't like super indie films.
You're not going to see After Sun, spoiler alert. They like blockbusters, kinda. They will nominate comedies and superhero movies.
They nominated The Big Sick, and they nominated Borat, subsequent movie film.
Let's just go over what we know is happening. So I think that this award's going to be between Everything Everywhere and Top Gun Maverick for the win. Top Gun Maverick could pull off such a win. It could pull off such a win. But we may be seeing more of an Everything Everywhere sweep than anticipated, where I thought maybe this movie wins off SAG Ensemble alone.
I think when it wins SAG Ensemble, people are going to be like, oh shit, it's going to win PGA.
The Fabelmans is going to be in, Banshee is going to be in, Elvis in, Avatar absolutely in,
Yep.
Tar will make it. They did nominate Knives Out. Does that mean they'll nominate Glass Onion?
Well, Glass Onion's doing better with awards than Knives Out, so I would say yes.
Well, let me tell you this, buddy.
Okay.
AFI nominated Knives Out. They did not nominate Glass Onion. Critics' Choice nominated Glass Onion. Did not nominate Knives Out. So it hasn't even... You would think it would be performing the same maybe with these groups, but it's really not. Glass Onion is a big Netflix movie. It was very popular on streaming, but the buzz seems to have died a little bit, honestly. I guess people weren't having that fun theatrical experience. Like, you see the IMDb score drop from like a 7.9 or an 8 to like a 7.2 now.
No way.
I fucking swear.
No way.
And I'm surprised. I'm like, why wouldn't people think that's like at least an 8?
Hold up here. That's very bad.
I think be shocked if it missed.
I still think when you look at the other contenders, it does have a better shot.
Well, here's the other thing. The biggest question mark for me is All Quiet on the Western Front. So before the PGA nominations happen, we're going to have costume designers, SAG, where it could make stunts maybe, makeup, DGA, Cinema Audio Society, Motion Picture Sound Editors, Art Directors Guild, and ASC. All of these things will influence whether or not I think All Quiet gets PGA. If it gets all of them, then I'll be like, okay, they agree with, the Oscar shortlist and especially the BAFTA long list, where it's like the industry is seeing this movie and they're all appreciating the craft. If it's a little bit weak with these awards, I probably would not predict it for PGA.
I say put it in.
We'll put it in for now, but if it's weak, I'm taking it out.
I think it's just getting stronger, though.
The other question mark for me is Babylon. And I feel like Babylon might be Nightmare Alley, where it does squeeze in as maybe the number 10 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Nightmare Alley didn't make PGA. I'm not really sure. I don't even think Babylon is Don't Look Up. I think Don't Look Up was stronger than Babylon.
Yeah, it was still getting nominated.
It had a fan base. It had popularity. Bombing at the box office might be a particularly bad look for the PGA, who are producers. So, that's why putting a movie like The Woman King on here makes sense, because that movie was successful, well-liked, popular, big blockbuster.
Genre action flick that was also like a prestige drama.
Babylon is kind of falling. Like All Quiet on the Western Front, I will be watching if Babylon is getting snubbed at ASC. I mean, it'll make Production Design, Costume Guild. ASC, I actually think is pretty important for Babylon.
But here's the thing. I could see All Quiet being the thing that the PGAs don't nominate, that the Oscars do nominate. Because I think the Oscars are going to nominate it for Best Picture at this point.
It's a foreign film, so, maybe you could say it has a harder time getting it at PGA, but, it's not Drive My Car. This is a big, expensive movie.
And somehow Netflix, I don't know what they're doing, but they are pulling off, quite a feat with getting people to now see and acknowledge the movie for its craft. Even critics groups were dragging their fucking feet with nominating this thing for crafts like cinematography and even sound. It was very weird. The critics groups were like, I don't know what you are, so we're just gonna jump over you. We're gonna skip over you.
Really, the lack of a well-known director and cast was probably the barrier.
I would also like to look at this and say, okay, which films would you say get in here and then not at Best Picture at the Oscars?
The Woman King and Glass Onion.
I agree. Black Panther still might get in as another movie that wouldn't get Best Picture but could still get in here.
Yeah, now could The Whale?
The Whale
have a resurgence? I don't think so.
It's not going to get in here.
Women Talking, we didn't even fucking bother to discuss. It
feels too indie in a way.
It's so not getting PGA that
Here's what Women Talking is. It's If Beale Street Could Talk. It's a little too indie to get nominated at PGA.
Yeah.
And it's good enough that it should be getting nominations, but they're just kind of
Nope is not doing well enough.
You know what, though? It would be interesting if Triangle of Sadness got in as a comedy when you think about it that way.
I wouldn't think about it that way.
You wouldn't think of it like, okay, The Big Sick got in. That was a comedy.
That's not The Big Sick. It's a weird Ruben Östlund movie, okay?
Well, it's funny.
All right, DGA. I think Daniels are going to take this.
Which is weird. I'm
well,
trying to get
we
myself
think they
used to
might
it. It
sweep.
still feels like surreal to me that they would win director.
I also want them to surprise me at the Oscars. Like, because I want to feel that Bong Joon-ho moment.
Because I think they could win the Oscar out of like a surge of passion for it. But
what
it's
might be
weird
happening
thinking
is-
that they might sweep everywhere.
That's what might be happening. And then I'm not even going to be as surprised, which is honestly a little less fun than if I was like totally surprised by it. But it'll still be a great time. You know, we can celebrate and rejoice. You know, DGA, they could go somewhere else. They could say, like, we want a blockbuster.
I know Spielberg's still in people's minds. I know he's still at the top of their minds thinking he's going to win something. But I can easily see him winning nothing.
McDonough will get in. He got in for 3 Billboards. That's going to be a no-brainer. That movie's doing real well. I'm going Golden Globes 5 here. And I wasn't trying to do the Golden Globes 5, but I just thought Elvis is going hard. And Elvis did really well at the long list.
It's a little icky to me, but I kind of agree.
Todd Field, he's Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite. He misses Golden Globe, he misses DGA, but he gets the Oscar.
But it's such a director movie that it's weird that a directing branch wouldn't nominate it.
And I would say the same about The Favorite.
They'll nominate Peter Farrelly for Green Book, McDonough for 3 Billboards, like things that the Oscars go on to snub. Oh, also Aaron Sorkin for Trial of Chicago 7.
But also Baz Luhrmann, like, that's a stylish movie, and he's an auteur. I think he might even fucking get Oscar nominated.
I agree. Todd Field might miss here, but he's going to get the Oscar nomination. He's going to be fine. Joseph Kosinski could start happening. In a weird way. I can understand how Critics' Choice weren't expecting him to become a director contender, but I could see him becoming a director contender still.
This is where a lot of people think that he's going to get in, especially, you know, people who are thinking that Top Gun is going to win Best Picture. You would really want to see a DGA nomination, because outside of Coda, you don't really win Best Picture without getting a DGA nomination. But I don't think he's going to get it. I don't see that much support for him getting director nominations. All Quiet is the kind of big, sort of explosive movie
that's true.
If they're really like loving the movie and all the guilds are getting in on it, like they could go for Edward Berger.
And
but
if
he's
they
also
do,
not
then holy shit, that movie's a big contender.
But he's not a name is the other thing. Like if this was a filmmaker Americans are familiar with, I would have an easier time having him higher.
Yeah.
But I feel good about the 5, and those are our predictions for PGA, DGA. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Which director are you related to?